What's up, everybody? It's Darkstrider, the YouTube Assassin, and today I have another build for you. This time I have a Burning Demigod. So I've got the Demigod set, and what I like to do with the Warrior sets is, for some reason, I'm pretty drawn to fire, especially since it's in the Warrior class, so that's what we have here. So let's start off with the weapons, okay? I have a favorite of mine, which is the Minotaur's Labrys. All right, has 19 warrior damage. It has 25 crit damage. It has -1 adrenaline costs for overpower abilities. And then I added weapon damage becomes fire damage, just so that it stays on fire, even though we could swap that out for something else. We could swap it out for maybe extra burning duration or something like that. But in this case, I figured let me just go with that so I don't have to keep activating the fire ability. Next up, I have Hades Bident. Now, this is a favorite of mine because it has 19% warrior damage, 35% crit damage, 20% damage with Ring of Chaos ability, which is huge. I really like the ability. I like the crit damage. I like the warrior damage. I added plus 50% elemental buildup with warrior abilities because it really ignites your enemies, catches them on fire, and they'll burn for a little bit. You'll see later on in the build. I also have the Hades bow. The basic arrows become fire arrows. We don't have to change that around. Now I added 20% health and armor just because I wanted to be a little more tanky. I wanted to be able to take a couple of more hits. All right. It also has 28% fire damage, which is because we've actually grown this for a while, being that it's I'm level 70 now, and all the bars are filled up, as you can see, the two on the right and the five on the left. Also has 90% warrior damage, which the warrior damage is going to be great for this build. Now, for the gear, obviously the Demigod set, 90% warrior damage, plus 6% all damage, plus 20% fire damage is what I added. And then the set gives you plus 30% damage with all abilities, which actually helps us out as we're going through all these battles and stuff like that. It actually helps us we're stronger. So now we're going to we're going to check out the bracers. It has 19% warrior damage, plus 6% all damage. Now I added plus 30% total armor because like I said, I want it to be a little more tanky. As a warrior, you get to go in there and just attack, just assault, and you really don't want to be caught off guard. You really don't want to be destroyed, damaged, hurt. So that's why I added the armor. Now, for the chest piece, it comes with warrior damage again, comes with all damage again. I added 9% damage with heavy bladed weapons because I'm using the Labrys and I enjoy it. So I figured, let me give it a little more strength. Let me put it there. Obviously, I haven't used it enough. When I use it enough, everything else will fill up. The waistband, 19% warrior damage, 6% all damage, just like most of the gear. And then again, I added 30% total armor because we're going to need that armor. We're going to need to be able to last a little bit longer. As far as the boots went, warrior damage, all damage, I added fire damage. Just because fire damage for this build was kind of important, even though I could have probably also put it on a couple of other things, maybe on some of this gear. But I figured, let me go with that and let me see, how that fares. So going to the abilities, now, yes, the abilities are ridiculous because of all the delays, level 70 and everything. If you're a lower level, these are the abilities you really want, okay? We're going to focus on Warrior. Now, I have Bull Rush because it actually does a lot of damage when it's triple tiered. You're going to be able to not only run into the enemies or a line of enemies, you also do like a smash at the end that sends them all flying. And with all your weapons on fire, everybody gets burned. Spartan Kick, you really don't need for this build, but because we're a warrior, we add it anyway. This Shield Breaker, you really don't need either. Okay? Just because I had so many points, that's what I put it in. What you do need, however, at least one rank of flaming attacks so that you could open up 3 ranks of Fire Mastery. Because the Fire Mastery here, you become a pyromancer. Fire buildup is increased by 60%. Burning duration is increased by 6 seconds. Fire damage is increased by 40%. So they're going to burn longer, faster, and harder. That's why we need this. Second wind, that's a no-brainer. You always need second wind on any build. That way you could survive. Weapons Master and Gear Master, both, especially since we're a warrior now, it's going to give us more damage. Warrior damage increases by 40%, increased crit chance with all weapons by 10%. And then, of course, your gear, the gear increases how well protected you are. Now, I also added Ring of Chaos because this is going to be great for control. What we're going to do is, being that our weapons are on fire, we'll go in, we might bust out the Battle Cry of Ares, which that's going to give you, you're just going to be a god for 20 seconds. All right? After that, we're going to pop that, we're going to pop this, and everybody's just going to go flying. It's going to be an absolute mess. And then we also have the overpower attacks, which the overpower attacks, as we get our bar full and whatnot, if we really want to take out one solid enemy, this is what we use. So overpower attacks, that's an absolute plus. I added charged heavy attack only because I like it. Like I say in most of my build videos, you can just creep up from behind and smack them away. And even if you're up close and you're in front of them, you end up holding the button to charge and you just smack them, you wail on them. It's kind of cool. So now in the assassin area, I put Shadow Assassin because assassinating from behind actually helps us out in some situations where, you know, we may need to control the situation, or you may want to get a little extra damage before you take out like a mercenary or somebody. Over here, the rush assassination is not necessary for this build. Okay, again, I just have a crap ton of points and I put it in almost everything. You go to critical assassination. Critical assassination is good, again, if you're sneaking up from behind, so that way you do a little extra damage. I put Stealth Master, which helps us hide in trees, shrubbery, gives us a breather. We're not going to be that easy to detect. Shadow of Nyx, even though this is fun, this is not necessary for this build. Neither is Slow Time. What I do like to put on most of my builds is Hero Strike, because Hero Strike actually, it's like a control method. In most cases, it just one-shots the enemy. So we're able to like get rid of one or two people easily. We could dispatch them as long as we've got Hero Strike. You could take somebody out before the other guy notices you're already on top of him. Call to Arms is unnecessary. Vanish is unnecessary for this build. If you wanted to do this build in reverse, and instead of making a burning demigod, and you wanted to make a venomous demigod, you could swap out this here for these two here. Again, you could put just one rank here so that you could open up Poison Mastery and open up all three ranks. And Revelation is not necessary, but I like to add it. Like I say, I like to see things. I like to just have everything pop for me. Or if there's an enemy nearby, I like to see what I missed and see what their level is and whatnot. Okay. As far as Hunter goes, Hunter is pretty standard with all my builds. Devastating Shot. Multi-shot really is not necessary, but in some cases you might want to have it if you want to take out multiple people. Arrow Master is not necessary. I just like to have all the different arrows for some reason. And again, I said I had all these extra ability points. Sixth Sense I like to have just because if you're going to use your bow, you're going to be able to like snap aim to the target very quickly. Archery Master increases your hunter damage. Every arrow you shoot, the headshot increases. That's why I like to put that there. You don't really need Overpower Bow Strike. I really don't have a lot of situations where I use it, but I do like to put at least one rank into that so that I can open up Ghost Arrows of Artemis, which is great because if I want to be a little sneaky and I want to shoot through a wall or something like that, a shield, that's what Ghost Arrows of Artemis does. Okay, now every one of these things that I said, all these ability points that I said were not necessary. If you have the extra, you can go into your mastery levels and basically put it into things that are matching your inventory. Okay? So if you see fire damage, if you see warrior damage, if you see you know, crit damage, things like that, things that match up here. You might want to put those points into those masteries to make all these items stronger, all these engravings. The stronger your engravings are, especially with the mastery levels, the more incredible the build is going to be, the more damage you're going to do. So that's my advice to you. You know, switch it out. Me personally, I'm kind of leaving my stuff alone. I'm trying to see what's going on with the DLC tomorrow. As you can see, like 25 million. And I'm actually blown away because this over here is asking for 25 million, like 25.5 million, almost 26 million, which I know most people have 25 million, they're saying. So that just kind of threw me off there. It's kind of crazy. I only have like almost 6 million. So anyway, let's take a look at the stats. All right, so warrior damage plus 222%, which is great. Assassin and hunter damage, they always suffer whenever you have like a solid warrior build. Whereas like assassin or hunter might have like a combination of all three. As far as damage with headshots, we have 269%, which is great. That's incredible. The bow is actually going to just, you could headshot people if you wanted to rather than do anything else. Critical hit damage, 170%. That's awesome. Critical hit chance is only 15%. If you wanted to remove some of those things, you could even remove the, or you could even add critical hit chance. But I know there's a lot of people who are up in the air about that. Some people don't believe that critical hit chance means anything, especially if you're using arrows, because every shot to the head is a critical shot. Now we go over to the defensive modifiers. Our armor, as you can see, is 170%. We are nowhere near squishy. And if you wanted to add on the other engraving where you have only 25% health, but you have 100% more damage, this may even help us out if we have all this armor bonus on. And it may even help the damage out, honestly. It all depends. I may toy around with this a little more. Fire damage, as you can see, 108%. The fire duration is 15 seconds, and the fire buildup is 160%, which is just phenomenal. Okay, not as big with the poison because this is not a poison build, but you could imagine that those numbers would be flipped over if we decided to go with a venomous version of this demigod. So now we're going to get into it. We're going to go into a fort like I always like to do because I like to try it out when I'm surrounded by enemies and whatnot. And we're just going to go cause a little trouble. So as you can see, solid hits. We do want to avoid the fire. That's another reason we have second wind. And if you really want to, you could just roll. So I'm not taking a lot of damage. I'm doing decent damage. I'm swiping people down in like 2 hits. And then of course lighting everything on fire, which is just demented. And there we go. I increased my heavy blade damage, which is great. That'll make the build even stronger. And let's take a look. Let's get surrounded. Let's get a couple of people to surround us. In fact, where the heck is? Ah, there it is.
I'm not a slave.
Oh, totally missed. There we go. Now that'll cause some trouble. Hero strike, that's always good. And of course they're burning up, so I mean the fire's even doing the damage for me. Get rid of that. Come on, where's everybody else? Bring everybody. Where's everybody? Come on. There we go. Let's get a couple of people going. Ooh, and a bear. That's nice. Okay, so at this point, this is where we could have some fun and we could do Battle Cry of Ares. And I mean, we just pummeled everybody. Half of those people were one-shotted. A lot of those people are still burning, dying. And that's what I like to do with these builds. Did I even one-shot the mercenary? That's kind of crazy. Here we go, a little bit of control. And again. Let's see our headshot damage. If I could headshot. There we go. Nice. So we even have some major damage going there every time I hit, every time I strike, which is pretty awesome. And if we just need a little breather, we just do that. That way we get rid of enemies that are nearby that are just annoying us. So as you can see, you've got this build, and it does have some control. You do have some abilities to kind of, you know, recover if you're surrounded. Enemies really can't hold up to it. And, you know, I didn't really use Second Wind a lot. I used it like maybe twice. So it's a pretty solid build, I would say. I'd like to try it with the poison. I'd like to see what that's like. But again, you know, just having something like this and with the heavy blade, I don't know why I love the heavy blades. I feel that the hammers are a little too slow. Even though, you know, the heavy blades are even slow, but, you know, it's a lot of fun. If you wanted to alter this build, in fact, you could even use swords in place of the Labrys, which would also be kind of a solid kind of move, you know? It all depends on your play style. You know, with swords or daggers and stuff like that, some people play better with just, you know, everything. So it's just a big mix here. Don't go to sleep, pal. Going straight through this guy's shield. He's on fire. Have critical hits every once in a while, but the fire is going to eat him alive, as does the damage that we're doing. That's going to eat him alive. So, you know, these guys really, they can't stand up to me. And then, like I said, if I needed to do some control, I needed to do some crowd control, I just hit that battle cry of Ares, and then just light them all up with the circle of chaos. So that's it. That's the build. Let me know what you think of it. What would you do to improve it? Would you prefer to see this, or would you prefer a poison build? I actually might even try a poison build just for the heck of it. Are you level 70? Do you think that this build is this powerful because it's level 70? Do you think that somebody who's level 30 could use something like this? Let me know in the comments below. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out an awful lot. And as always, thank you for watching.